So today we are going to be doing a NPR version of the show because yes, there again, I've got family in the house and I've got to be quiet while recording, but I do have some games I want to talk about. Some games that are on sale that look just too good to pass up. Also, I am working on a review for Trails into Reverie, but it's taking longer than I thought it would, so it should be out on the 5th of July. But let's get to the games that are on sale right now. And the first one is a game that almost never goes on sale. It's called Doki Doki Literature Club. Now, if you've never heard of this game, I would advise not looking into it. If you've been interested in it, or you've heard, hey, you should play this game, but you don't know anything about it, then don't look into it, just get it. Because this is one of those games that I'm going to do a very, very generalized job of explaining, because the turn in the game is insane. Like, when this game came out, I heard so much about it, in fact, too much about it, that I actually know what happens, even though I haven't beat it yet, and that does kind of ruin it for me. But essentially, this game is almost like a dating simulator, where you're a student in a high school, where you have to pick a club, a extracurricular activity, if you will, and you decide to actually go into the literature club. After being strong-armed by a childhood friend to stop by and check it out, you meet 3 other girls that make up this club. So essentially, it's you and 4 girls. That's all that's in this club. But this then becomes the dating simulator where you can interact with them. You can actually write poems and read books and talk to them in different ways. But the game really takes off after an hour or so. And when it does, it really does. So I'm not going to go into any more story detail, but I will say that right now it is $10.49. It's on a 30% sale. Typically the game's $14.99, so it's not like it's an insanely expensive game, but it is cool when it's on sale and it's definitely worth a pickup. So that takes us to our next game, Omno, or OMNO, which is essentially this very weird game where you find yourself in a foreign world. You don't recognize any of the creatures here, and you don't even know how you got here. You're given a little bit of a tutorial on how to move, and that's really about it. As you interact with new species of creatures, you'll be able to document all of the different things that you meet and you interact with, and you also start to get clues on another adventure that was here before you. And as you're kind of following their steps, you learn more and more about this world and about this place that you're discovering and how it's powered and what might lie in store for you here. Now, this game, I feel like, has a very interesting art style. I like it. I think it serves the game well, but it's not incredibly defined. And I will say, controls are a little loose for my preference. They're alright, and it's not game-breaking, but I do wish it was just a little bit tighter because there are some platforming that could have been easier with better controls, but again, it's not game-breaking or anything. And this game is essentially a puzzle platformer / walking simulator, as there isn't a lot of combat or even situations that call for it, as you're more, like I said, like an explorer, or think of someone who's just documenting a alien life form kind of thing. That's essentially your role in this game, is more of the job of a researcher and less of a full-blown adventure. But right now, that game is $3.19, and it's down 80%. Its regular price is $15.99, so it's got a really good discount right now, and if you're interested in it, this is definitely one of your best opportunities to pick it up at a very cheap price. Now, the sale does end on the 4th, so you only have about a day or so for that. So this next game is a game that I picked up on launch day. I was incredibly excited to check this out, as I heard a lot of people compare it to Wind Waker, and let me tell you, it's nothing like Wind Waker. But this game is called Windbound. It's basically more of a survival crafting type game. Now, it gives you very little to go on as far as story, because it doesn't actually say what happened or exactly what happened. The only thing that you really have is this vivid image of you and a few others on 3 different boats, I believe, and this gigantic sea monster basically attacking them and then coming after you. And you're basically drowning, and then all of a sudden you wake up, you run through a gate, and you're like transported to a lone island where you can then see another island that's in swimming distance. You can start cutting grass and picking up rocks and creating slings so you can go after animals or protect yourself. You can use some of the grass to make ropes to then make like a ship hole, and a tiny ship hole, more like a canoe, if you will, and just explore and keep going. Now, I will say that when this game came out, it was incredibly punishing and didn't hold your hand at all. But I decided to check this out more recently just to see if I should suggest checking it out, because honestly, didn't really like it when I played it. And I will say they did a lot of quality of life improvements. They give you more recipes and they kind of just help you along your way a little bit more. And I can honestly say this game is probably at its peak, and this is probably the best time to pick it up, because typically it's $19.99, and right now it's $1.99, so yeah, that's a 90% discount. I'm going to talk about a couple games that I want to pick up that I haven't and I'm still thinking about, and the first one is Ni no Kuni 2. Now, I do have the first one, I haven't beat that. Ni no Kuni 2, I did get like maybe halfway through the game on PlayStation 4, and I just never went back to it, and so now that it's on sale right now for $19.99, down from $59.99, I'm really thinking about getting it. It's a really fun game. My only issue is it's another RPG in like the just pile of RPGs I have right now that are they're crippling me, honestly. I don't get the chance to play anything else but these like long drawn out RPGs, which I do love, but they are time consuming, and this is no different than the other ones. I think this one comes out at about 70 to 80 hours, and yeah, that's a lot. Also, I will say Witcher 3, the whole Wild Hunt DLC bundle, all of that is $29.99, down from $59.99, and that is a must pick up if you have not played it. It is so good. It is so worth it. There again, you're talking over 100 hours of gameplay, but it is amazingly fun, great gameplay. The side quests become their own thing. Like, this game is one of the most masterfully put together games I've ever played. It is just insanely good, and if you haven't played it, you should definitely get it. I know $30 is kind of expensive, but it's well worth it. The other ones I'm thinking about are some of the like Disney games. Like Cars 3 is like $5.99 and it looks really good, and it's typically like $39.99. I don't know, that one I've really been thinking about. And same with all the Lego games. Like every Lego game I've played is always a lot of fun, and there's usually a lot of content, and they're usually put together really well. So I don't know, there's something to check out. There's a few that I'm probably gonna get, like the Lego Ninjago game. I know I've played part of it and it was a lot of fun. I think it's like $8.99 right now, or it's under $10, maybe even $7.99, but it's definitely worth it. That one I know I played and it's fun, and I'm gonna grab that. And to wrap up the video, just one last game that I've been playing a lot of, and when I say a lot, I mean I beat the game. It's about 4 hours long, and it is a really beautiful looking game. It has that Studio Ghibli art style that just looks beautiful. It's one of those games I sometimes can't believe is actually playing on the Switch. Like, I can't believe I'm playing with that imagery and it's not a cutscene or something like that. This game is called Forgotten Anne, and right now it is $3.99, down from $19.99, so there's a big discount on it. And essentially, this game follows you as you play as Anne, the enforcer, in the world of the Forgotten. And you and the master, Banku, I think is his name, you're the only two humans. Now, there's all these other items in this world that are actually brought to life. Things like mops or a gun. Like, they have their own personality, their own being, but they were just forgotten in the real world, and they ended up in this world of Forgotten. Now, Anne and Master, their main goal is to get back to the regular world, and they've tried all these different ways of doing it, and there's this whole thing with collecting enough energy that they can build a bridge, but we find out very early on that there's a rebel group who doesn't want to go back. They don't want to be connected back to the living world, or the real world, if you will, because they were slaves then. They were owned by somebody, and in this world, they're liberated. So you have two fractions going back and forth. And this game can get very dark, as you as Anne, the enforcer, have the ability, due to this glove that you wear, to actually just essentially vaporize any of the other beings and turn them into energy. Aside from that, aside from the fact that there's a civil war going on, this game does get really dark. And I'm not even talking about just with those things. There's definitely some implications of a more complex storyline that you could follow. Things you could look into a little bit deeper if you wanted to. But honestly, I really enjoyed this game. The puzzles were challenging enough to feel accomplished when you finally get it figured out, but yet not too difficult to make you want to quit. And I would say the platforming is easy enough. They don't really push that too much, but there is enough of it. And say, like I said, this game is one I would definitely recommend if you've never played it. I never even heard of it, so I was really glad when I found this game, and definitely recommend anyone check it out. But again, would definitely throw some like trigger warnings on that one, because it does get really dark. There's some very dark undertones to the game. But anyway, those are just a small list of games that are on sale right now. I will be releasing a part 2 in the next couple days, and I will have that review for Trails into Reverie. Anyway guys, please leave a comment in the section down below. Let me know what games you're picking up, which ones you're looking forward to, and if you've heard of all these games, or if you have them all. Anything and everything down below. Really appreciate it. And if you haven't, please hit that subs button. But I'm sure if you've listened all the way to the end, you've already done that. But anyway guys, thank you so much. Love y'all. Bye bye.